so plant-based, which I think, for some people listening is like, what does that mean? And why is that a good thing? And how does that tie in with the Mediterranean diet that you talked about before?
Sure, because some of the key things that we came up with from the reductionist days was high saturated fat and versus low saturated fat, or fiber being good for you. So plants have fiber. Animal foods don't have fiber. All the animal foods have saturated fat. So if you just wanted to start overly simplistically, that's a place to start to include more plants in your diet.
And why is the fiber good?
Fiber is good for the microbiome. It's the food matrix. It slows the digestion so that the carbohydrates that you are eating that are going to turn into blood glucose appear slowly over time.
This is something we're really interested in as well, because we know that fiber is like the party food for the microbiome as well. And that's where we see the strongest signal. So we see that the association between fiber and a healthy microbiome is incredibly strong. We know that fiber is one of the single nutrients, and I know, again, we hate to talk about nutrients, that is associated with improved health. And I think that one of the strongest reasons is because of the impact it has on our microbiome, as well as these other mechanisms. You've done some research as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Looking at this. I'd love to hear those results, because I know it's quite a new study that's come out.
Yeah, so we've been messing with fiber and fermented food and the microbiome and trying to characterize this. We're actually way behind you. So we looked at some of your publications to see what you're coming up with, because we don't, from my perspective, our lab hasn't generated a list of the top microbes or a list of the different kinds of fiber. So at the moment, we're kind of stuck with, well, since we're not sure, have a variety of fibers, because the fibers that are present in wheat versus nuts versus beans are not the same. And it, again, sorry, but it's complicated. So you can't just pick one fiber for one strain of bacteria that you're trying to look at. The growth or the bloom of one of those bacterial strains has an effect on the rest of the community. But that's what I love about Zoe, is how you're after that. You're after the complexity, because you can measure the fibers and you can measure the microbes.
And this is why we talk about diversity so much, because we know that there's no point just focusing in on one fiber or one aspect of a food, that we have to make sure we have a diversity of all the different bioactives and all the different kinds of fibers.
So Sarah, for someone thinking about this right now, for what that means for them to eat, because it sounds cool, right? I want to support my healthy bacteria and get all those health benefits. But what does that mean if I'm thinking about what I'm eating? What does that imply?
So when we talk about a diversity of food, we tend to be wanting people to have a diversity of plant-based foods. So we talk about eating the rainbow. So eating the rainbow means that you're getting lots of different types of polyphenols. Polyphenols are these magical bioactives that are in food that give food their pigment, so their colour. So by getting a whole rainbow of food, you're getting different polyphenols, but you're also going to get a variety.
I'm guessing my red Pop-Tart, coming back to a previous comment, that's probably not the polyphenols that are colouring it. Am I right in guessing